Hello, dear friends. Good evening. Today we're going to be talking about love. Of course, that's the topic of the day. But we're going to be focusing today on the five love languages. There's probably more than these, but these are the five principal ways of expressing love, as mentioned by Dr. Gary Chapman. Now, but we're going to have a little twist. There's two things about the love languages. Firstly, do you know that it is possible that your love language is a result of what you were not given while you were growing up? And secondly, many people may have noticed, but then the manner in which you desire to receive love is the same manner in which you express love. So the love language which you have is most likely the way you will try to communicate love to or show love to the person whom you love. Now, let's start with the first one. The love language is most likely what you did not get as a child. There's five love languages, which include gifts, and this could be giving gifts receiving gifts in any form. And the second one, in no particular order, is words of affirmation. And this includes receiving some sort of praise, encouragement, validation, so to speak, like verbally, of course. Another one is quality time. That is time spent with the person you love or time spent together doing something, some activity. Another one is acts of service. An act of service is going to include things like cooking a meal for you or just washing the dishes after you've cooked, just doing something helpful around. And then, last but not the least, is physical touch. And physical touch could range from things as simple such as holding hands, hugs, even sexual intimacy or physical intimacy. Now, let's start with the first, gifts. If your love language, or if you express love by giving gifts, if you would want to be loved by receiving gifts, that's gift giving is your love language, it means you want to receive gifts, then it's highly possible that while you were growing up, especially as a kid or as a teenager, depending on what age group you find yourself in, you didn't receive so much gifts. Or you might have received gifts, but these gifts did not really seem very thoughtful, or the gifts did not really express what you really wanted. For example, you told your parents for Christmas you were hoping to receive something as simple as a toy car, but then they bought you a pair of clothes that you really didn't even like. This is something simple. Or growing up as a teenager, you may have wanted to receive something specific for your birthday, but you were just taken out for dinner. These are examples of those things. Now, moving on to the next, we have physical touch. For those who like to be touched and who really enjoy physical touch as their form of love language, you may notice that while you were growing up, you may not have received so much affection from your parents or your guardians or from those in your immediate surroundings, those whom you would have expected to receive love from. Maybe the parents were not the huggy type, maybe they didn't hug you often, maybe they didn't show you signs of physical affection. Or some cases, maybe this person received different forms of touch, but these were not necessarily the type of touch you may have wanted. It could be like fighting with siblings or being beaten up or something like that. I mean, I for one, this is one of my love languages, physical affection, and I know for a fact that I did not necessarily get enough hugs and kisses and caresses and all of these things from my parents or from those whom I would have expected to get this from. So yeah. And then you have quality time. Now, for someone who desires quality time, most often than not, they may have not been heard or they may not have felt seen. in a lot of cases, someone who may have been or who is an only child may have experienced this sense of loneliness. And in such cases, the person would really desire to receive quality time. Or maybe the person did not feel seen. Maybe the person was amongst other siblings, but was the least, should I say, least paid attention to. In some cases, the person may have also been the first sibling, but then the person had to grow up kind of fast. So the person would desire to have quality time. And then the next is acts of service. Acts of service, in this case, looking back at your childhood, this person may have been the one to actually do things for others. Or the person may have found themselves doing things like doing certain chores, cooking for their parents. Not that cooking for your parents is bad, but maybe at the times at which you would have expected these things to be done for you, you had to start doing them earlier, or you had to start doing them more often than you should have. So doing a lot of things for others. A firstborn also might have experienced this. They might have found themselves trying to parent the subsequent kids. By so doing, they kind of lacked the reciprocity. They kind of lacked being on the receiving end of acts of service. And then the last one is words of affirmation. And I'm going to use myself once more as an example. Growing up, of course, my parents told me a lot of times that they were proud of me and things, but it almost felt like I had to do something. And I think I had more of criticism than affirmation, as in what you did wrong. So out of the 100 things you did, you may have done, for the one thing you did wrong, you got much more criticism than for the 99 you did right. So people may have found themselves in this dynamic. Of course, our parents were most likely trying to bring out the very best from us, but then by criticizing more than affirming, it may have developed within me in this instance, or within people who like me share words of affirmation as a love language. It may have rather developed the need, the desire to just hear good things about themselves, to know that I did something nicely, I did something well. Now, on the flip side, it is interesting because the love languages we possess, we tend to show love to others using our love languages. And sometimes the love language you're showing to the other person may not necessarily be your love language. And then it creates confusion for within you. For example, I would like to receive words of affirmation. So it's really easy for me to compliment people, to say nice things to people, to somebody I love, I think I love. It's really easy for me, very easy for me to compliment you, to say nice things to you, to praise you, in fact, I would bombard you with so much words of affirmation that you might think that I'm just kidding, or I'm not taking things seriously. Or you might actually downplay them, because this is what I want. Something within me feels like me doing this is actually showing you so much love. So these are the things that I would like to talk about today, and I hope that this segment helps you to reflect on yourself. Take a look back at your life, what your love language is, what its potential origins are, and to try to understand your loved one's love language so that you don't shower them with what you desire, but actually shower them with what they desire. Happy Valentine's Day to you all, and have a blast. Stay blessed. Ciao, ciao. Bye.